who take children, not out of the kindness of their heart or the love in their heart, but people who really are evildoers and abusers of children, which is what you are. For the crime of Kennedy, Natalie Marie, I have no difficulty imposing the aggravated sentence in this case, which is 165 months with the Department of Corrections, as established by the Kansas Sentencing Guidelines, the legislature, and as amended and charged in this case. It is a level 1 person felony. It grants you an opportunity to earn up to 15% good time credit. And it is a determinate sentence that minus your jail credit and any good time credit that you may or may not earn in the Department of Corrections as established by them, you will definitively serve. So your post-release supervision, sometimes referred to as parole, but you won't have an opportunity for parole because this is a determinate sentence. But that supervision period will be 36 months and require you to register as a violent offender and under the abuse registry with the state of Kansas. The violent offender public registration is for a period of 15 years post-release from post-release supervision. So you serve your sentence. You serve 36 months on post-release supervision, and then you begin your 15-year registration requirements. Obviously, I'm going to order in this case that you have no contact with any minor children. The second count, count 2, abuse of a child, knowingly torturing or cruelly inflicting punishment to a child. I am imposing the maximum sentence that I can give you, which is the aggravated sentence of 34 months with the Department of Corrections. These are separate and distinct offenses, and I am going to run this consecutive to the second-degree murder sentence of 165 months. On count 5, making a false writing to procure monies, welfare fraud, I am imposing the maximum sentence that I can give you for criminal history score of I, which is, in your case, no prior criminal history, of 9 months with the Department of Corrections. That is a level 8 non-person felony that you are being sentenced for. The primary base offense of murder controls your sentence today, but I will note for purposes of the PSI, the post-release duration on an abuse of a child is 24 months, and on making a false writing, it's 12 months. As they run consecutive, perhaps the good time credit matters as you complete the murder charge and sentence that you've received by the court. Then you will serve the sentence on the abuse of a child that's ran consecutive by this court. And then you will serve the 9 months aggravated sentence on the false writing with what turns into the possibility of 20% good time credit if you earn it, if it's earned. Again, that's within the exclusive control of the Department of Corrections, Kansas Department of Corrections. Finally, on count 6, theft of property or services by deception, failing to report that Kennedy was no longer living, no longer in your care, and no longer in your custody, yet receiving benefits for her. I impose the aggravated sentence of 7 months with the Department of Corrections, consecutive to the other count on the level 9 non-person felony. It is 12 months of post-release supervision and 20% good time credit as documented in the pre-sentence investigation report. I've previously advised you under KSA 215403 and general registration provisions under 224906 of your duty to register for a period of 15 years. But I am ordering that again today. The law requires that I give you jail credit for the time that you've served in the county jail as your confinement from the date of your arrest on February 3rd of 2025 to today, which is 280 days jail credit that you're entitled to have credited against your sentence, which by my calculation is an aggravated sentence of 215 months with the Department of Corrections that you're ordered to serve. I'm also ordering that you make restitution. That is a judgment that will be against you. It's a civil judgment, and it's an order in your criminal case to be considered as part of your post-release supervision or any other manner or means in which the state wishes to collect this money back from you, which I believe is in the amount of $13,413.82. Also, pursuant to KSA 20-370, I'm ordering that you pay an assessment fee of $400 to the Children's Advocacy Center Fund in the state of Kansas through the clerk of the district court, as well as court costs in this matter. The court could find you on the theft charge, but the court has to assess your ability to pay as it relates to attorney's fees and bids fees and any other fees or costs associated with this case. Obviously, you will be confined and not be gainfully employed. And so the court is not adding on any additional fines other than the restitution. And again, that's consistent with the plea agreement, in this case, and the recommendations by the county attorney. With regard to attorney's fees, State of Kansas versus Robinson requires me to assess your ability to pay attorney's fees. Typically, that's associated with probation and someone that's gainfully employed. And so the court is required to waive those fees if I cannot make a finding that you're gainfully employed and capable of repaying the attorney's fees for the attorney that you were afforded in this case. He, of course, will be paid by the state of Kansas, but I cannot assess any costs against you with regard to that in my assessment and based on Supreme Court decisions and case law. And that will include the bids fee as well. I'm not aware of any other financial requests for the court to impose. Again, this case is much more than finances. This case is a tragedy. And you will be